In life, we have moments of time to decide what kind of person we're going to be. Are we going to be one that lives within the boundaries of world ideas and popular countries and great people? Or are we going to live in the lesser, debasing parts of the world? Since the Lord brought me to this place called Champaign, where I literally walked from my state here with only two options of help that took 20 minutes off my walk by car, which meant several, maybe hours on my walk by myself, and 40 minutes additionally by a man who brought me to this university town, I recognized that life is not the same for people. When I stayed at the local men's shelter, men kept getting in and out of my property bags. And then one day a law enforcement officer walked in late at night. I sort of was woken up by the Lord to say, look a moment, and then go back to sleep. And I did. And from that point forward, I had all kinds of difficulties. My own driver's license was changed out and had additional things put on it which were not on it before, because I know this because God asked me to study my license many times, and it was sort of ill when I saw that it happened. Then there was a black man named Mike, who I'd sort of shared some food with that I didn't really need or didn't want or was allergic to, that was fresh and brand new, and I was sort of thinking he was a good guy, and he often said hello, and he said something about my license. And that's the thing, that every single player in a game on someone's life, in a manipulation of someone's life, in a shelter attack on someone's life, always has a tell. And that tell is their slip. They slip because they say something of information that there's no way in hell that they should know. It's no longer a natural coincidence of whether or not someone has been put there by God. It's a fundamental concept of I've got power because I know this information, and I'm going to drop it in here somehow to feel powerful. The truth is that there's been several people in my life that felt they had that right. I had one girlfriend one time who actually insulted me by saying something along the lines of, take it easy, girlfriend. And I thought, I am a man, and I am in love with women most of the time, so what the fuck are you doing calling me some gay term or some ridiculous thing? But she sadly is the one that I am madly in love with. I let it slip that day, another meaning I let it go. I didn't say a word because those were the early stages of our relationship. What we know from marketing is that it takes a good 12 to 14 interactions in order for someone to build trust. Trust is built, you see, step by step, one opportunity by the next. And when I fell in love with the one that I love, we were probably in our 20th interaction. I just knew from the get-go that I loved her. It wasn't the first day exactly, but it was the second or third that I just felt this overwhelming, unbelievable love for that girl. And I would literally say it to myself on a regular basis. I love that woman. I literally love that woman, and I couldn't tell why. And then when her text messages would come in, I literally would have a heartbeat that was faster and more robust. And I would get excited about that interaction and that conversation because it was so intellectual, it was so thoughtful, it was so funny, and it was so obvious that the Lord was pointing at her life to me. Because every time I was thinking of her, I literally would walk into a room and there'd be someone with her actual name, which never happened to me in life. And then when I was driving all the time, when I went through my various stages of traveling, trying to sell my work, my religious book, to different Christian houses and different religious organizations across the land, which was sort of challenging and sort of interesting, but a good way to make a living and to see the Midwest is to decide, are these places I'd like to go in the future with the one I love, or are these places I'd like to put down roots and stay and build a business practice after loss of my own life partner. And openly, I just say life partner because that's what these people are in our lives. Whether they're spouses, whether they're wives, whether they're husbands, whether they're significant others, whatever we decide to call them, honey, cutie pie, whatever the hell it is, babe, it doesn't matter. The reality is they are our life partners. And our life partners are additional souls that the Lord has put and placed with us. But in my particular case, I literally started to study metaphysics and how God speaks, and I went to a wonderful class in a small community, and I attended that for more than a year. And I learned an awful lot in that class. And I enjoyed it. Some days I thought the bullshit that went on was okay too, and just kind of took it in as this is a part of the show that I'm paying for my $10 to $12 that I paid. But the reality is, I still love that teacher, despite knowing her tell signs. The truth is, it's not about that. It's about what we gain based on how we interact with someone and how we learn from that person.